I want to address my friend, the tinny man, the tinsman, whatever he calls himself. He accuses me of calling him a Nazi. That's the way I deal with people who are anti-Circs. It's not true. I have a whole list of anti-Circs who didn't call them Nazis. I didn't call him a Nazi either. I said the following. His argument against Jewish people who circumcise, when taken in context of his overall political ideology, is exactly the same as neo-Nazis. Not because of his anti-Circ position, but because the anti-Circ position is symptomatic of a problem at the core. He does not respect Jews. And as such, he will criticize all Jews, including the Israelis who are only defending themselves. Look, I'm a critic of the Israeli government. I am an Orthodox. People call me ultra-Orthodox Jew. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like their giving in to the Arabs and giving them 1 inch of land. They should never have given Gaza away. They should never have given the Sinai away. That's my position. And I will take that with me until I'm gone. That's my position. But the present government has a terrible, terrible conflict. The Arabs in Gaza are shooting missiles almost on a daily basis. And if you're living in Sderot, or if you're living in Ashdod, you're under constant threat of a barrage where your children cannot live normally. Your children have to run to a shelter almost on a daily basis at sometimes. And you have no way of earning your living, no way of living normally because they're shooting missiles at you. So what should the response be? Play tiddlywinks? If Canadians would shoot 10,000 missiles, at one point that's how many missiles came into Israel from these nice people, these peace-loving Hamases. If Detroit would receive 10,000 missiles, you know what would happen? They wouldn't wait till 10,000. The second missile, there would already be Rangers going across the Detroit River into Windsor and occupying the place and getting rid of those SOBs that are shooting those missiles. What do you think happened after 9/11? We didn't play tiddlywinks with the people in Afghanistan. We beat their behinds. We killed them. We bombed them. Why? Because they went ahead and they took out 3,000 American lives. I got news for you. This country is 50 times as populous as Israel. 50 times as populous as Israel. 100 times the size, maybe. But certainly 50 times, more than 100 times, 400 times the size of Israel, 50 times the population. Do you realize that Israel has lost thousands of people to these people? That's like 50,000 casualties for Americans. We wouldn't stand for it. When when Tin Woodsman goes ahead and says that the Israelis are being cruel to the Palestinians in Gaza, he doesn't understand anything about politics, anything about security. Just look at what the world does when they receive these kinds of attacks. Israel has had tremendous restraint. The problem is that public television, which is run by a bunch of left-wing Jews, always promotes the Palestinians' position. Why? Do you realize that the Arabs will not allow a single Jew to live amongst them? Do you realize that unless you're a Muslim, you can't be a citizen, you cannot vote, you have no rights in any of the Muslim states? The people who are Christians or Jews are dhimmis. They're treated worse than the blacks were before the 50s and the 60s. That's the good Arabs. The radical Arabs want to kill all of them. What do you think Hamas is all about? What do you think Al-Qaeda is all about? Al-Qaeda is about world domination. And you guys are so narrow, you can't even see it. And that comes comes from your jaded perspective on Jewish practices and hence Jews. And that's the problem that you have. The problem that you have is you don't even see how sick you are. And that indeed, all of the positions that you take up politically, emotionally, religiously, all the criticisms that you bring toward me are exactly the same kinds of statements that the neo-Nazis will use. I'm not calling you neo-Nazi. I'm calling you stupid because you're falling into line with them. Now, Jimmy Carter at least got paid by the Arabs. Don't believe me. Just go into it, see who pays his bills. See who promoted his library. Jimmy Carter is paid by the Arabs. Calling Israel an apartheid state when there is an Arab sits on the Jewish Supreme Court. Arabs have the rights to vote, the rights to worship. The Arabs have their own MKs in the Knesset. There isn't a single Jew who is allowed to be an MK in Egypt or in Syria or in Turkey or in Lebanon. They don't want even Christians to live among them. They want to get rid of the Christians. That's why the population of Christian Arabs has declined in those areas, because they try to get the heck out of there because they're being persecuted. When a person goes ahead and can't see that, can't see the evil of Islam, of radical Islam, and accuses the Jews of doing what the Islamists do and want to continue to do, that person is downright stupid. I don't care how many titles you have. You probably don't have an advanced title, but even if you have a PhD, you got a PhD in stupidity, a PhD in Nazism, PhD in anti-Jewish rhetoric.